Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl News. My name is Brian, and these white dudes for Harris are about to learn the hard way that you don't mess around with New Yorkers who also happen to be reporters, who also happen to be conservative, and did I mention they work for Newsmax? Yeah, they picked the wrong fight here. Let's dive in.
I'm identifying as talented.
Be quiet.
I'm identifying as
Hey,
talented.
you messing up the clip.
Do your job.
Your faces are messing up.
Your job behind the
Step back.
camera
Hey, I'm not
is
your
you
friend.
do not film.
Step back.
You do.
Hey,
Let
shut
me just
up
tell
and
you
let
one
the
thing.
boy talk.
You know what? And I'm punching both of your
Okay,
faces.
let me tell you this.
His job is to talk.
Your
job is to film.
You may think we're news guys, but we're identifying
You
each
can't hit me.
What we are is Americans, and we'll break your skulls open, both of you. So get
Is that a
walking.
threat?
No, I'm telling you, you touch
Is
me,
that
you're
a
gonna get
threat?
knocked out.
No
How do you
one
like
touched
that?
you.
Okay, then get walking then.
This is a free
I gave you
country.
an opportunity
This
to
is
talk.
a free country.
Hey, you keep walking, pal.
I gave you an opportunity to
We're
talk
recording
because
stuff
you're
here
wearing
now.
a
We're
okay.
recording stuff
This
here
is
now.
my sidewalk.
Your sidewalk. Okay, all right. Hey,
I just want to remind everybody,
So
don't
keep
get
walking,
spanked,
pal.
man. Peace, love, and positivity. You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Hey, tell that to
Don't let
this
them
guy.
divide and
Yeah,
conquer,
tell
man.
him.
trying to
I'm
be
gonna break
peaceful
your skull.
by talking to
Hey,
you
6
guys.
feet.
I'm not
COVID
with
is
you.
real.
I ain't with
6
you.
feet.
I'm
COVID
giving you
is
a
real.
chance to talk and say something
Stay
smart.
6
You didn't
feet.
say one thing smart.
Yes, I did.
It's not the fake.
You didn't even know what it was.
So what is it that we can't
Hey,
agree
keep
about,
walking,
guys?
dummy.
We want change.
He's being homophobic, transphobic,
What's going on?
sexist.
I was trying to give these guys an opportunity to say something smart.
Okay.
You know,
then
like,
he became
Thank you.
Let him speak.
It's called objectivity. You know, journalists talk to people on all sides.
Yeah, and I respect that, but the cameraman doesn't need to talk.
You don't respect
Let
us.
him
The
speak.
cameraman should be quiet.
Yeah,
He gets
this guy.
he gets
quiet.
paid to
So what's
hold the
your guys'
camera, not
issue?
be in front of it.
Who, me? Oh, I'm just here to remind everybody, don't get spanked. You know, don't let them divide and conquer. You know, bring everybody
You
together.
don't want to get spanked?
Nah, you know, but you gotta get spanked in order to say don't get spanked. You know, you learn, you evolve, you keep growing.
I would love to be
All
spanked
right,
right now.
very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
but he was transphobic.
Hold on. These guys who are quite literally just being men on the street, reporting the news, trying to get the temperature of the room, trying to figure out where people's minds are at. And one of these little soy boys is throwing out the word transphobic. I don't think these guys are afraid of anything. When you're joking about splitting skulls open, which, by the way, quick side note, when conservatives are being a bit hyperbolic, they just want you to take them seriously. When Democrats are being hyperbolic, when liberals are being hyperbolic, they kind of mean it. All right, again, so I don't believe these two New Yorkers who threaten to do unspeakable things all the time. That's just a way of life for them up there. It's a little bit different down here, but let's be honest. Both of us will back up and put our money where our mouths are. You don't go after a New Yorker in a bar, and you don't go after a Southern boy in a bar, all right? Those are two unspoken American rules here, and these two kids think that they're going to get away with this with men who have seen it all, done it all, and are currently just trying to report the news. This is probably what happened right before this exchange. So first off, these dudes are clearly white dudes for Harris, and they're not exactly soy boys, but they're in the ballpark and for a completely different reason. I'll get to that later. So these two white dudes for Harris are out there trying to make a name for themselves, go viral, and try to trigger the conservative host. And the reporter isn't having it. The reporter is trying to mediate all what's going on here, but the cameraman was definitely not having it. And so they started triggering each other back and forth, and that's what started this whole exchange. So instead of having the wherewithal to say something intelligent, pleasant, or saying something that would actually have merit, there was probably just a bunch of names being thrown back and forth. Because first off, transphobic, there's no way you can tell me that these two conservative reporters are afraid of a trans person, okay? That's a tough sell for me right there. But, bless their hearts, they're trying their best to get their viral moment and their 15 minutes of fame, and they get shut down pretty darn quickly, mainly because they don't have anything of value to say. So, these white dudes for Harris, these guys aren't soy boys. They aren't one of those cowards that sit behind a keyboard, get on Reddit, and talk about doing unspeakable things, and then when it's time to put their money where their mouth is, they're back home in their parents' basement while these other two dudes are out there at least trying to show a chivalric spirit. And these two white dudes for Harris, they're really out there protecting people's rights, you know. That's clearly what's happening there. They're protecting trans people. Okay, Donald Trump has just made it law of the land by executive order that the federal government will only recognize male and female as genders. It's kind of sad that we've had to get to that point. And that's a much longer topic for a longer day, but these guys are now out there using that potential executive order. I think this was filmed before it was signed. And they're now out there kicking and screaming about a hot button issue, almost as if they're being paid to do so. I'm not going to go that far, but for these two dudes, because these guys are clearly dudes with testosterone flowing through their veins. They've got the look, they've got the attitude, they've got the body language. Those guys are clearly men. But they think that they're using their masculine virtue in order to protect people that they've never met. I'm sorry, dude. That's not chivalric at all. As a matter of fact, it's kind of lame. It's ultimately projection, because you can't use that in your own lives. You don't have an opportunity to use that kind of strength where you live, and so you have to go out and find trouble for yourselves. That's not masculine, all right? That's looking for trouble, and that's a problem no matter where you are. If you're on the streets of New York City, if you go looking for trouble, Buster, you're going to find it. You come down south, oh yeah, same thing. If you come looking for trouble, it's going to find you real quick. It's the same way across pretty much the entire country, except maybe some of the surfer dudes out in California. Those guys are chill no matter what. There's nothing you can do to rile those guys. They're a different breed of cat, and I love them for it. But you have two journalists that have been doing this for a long time. Two clearly New York journalists, okay? And I mean that with all sincerity. I joke about Yankees all the time and carpetbaggers because I'm a Southern boy, I'm a Georgia boy. But I have a certain amount of respect for people who say exactly what's on their mind and they don't care about the consequences. That's particularly for these New York dudes. And they're out there trying to get their news. They're trying to have a good discussion. They're trying to get people's actual thoughts. And that one dude that shows up at the end with that weird slogan, I think, "Don't get spanked." Okay, buddy, whatever floats your boat. But hey, at least you're cool. At least you're keeping your head. And you're basically warning these other two guys that, hey, you're pushing the envelopes a little bit. Oh, and for the other white dude for Harris, not the one in pink, but the one with the weird hat who thinks he looks like Johnny Depp. Yeah, buddy, that look ain't for you. Okay, it might score you some points with the rainbow community, but no one's buying that look. You're well groomed, but lose the hat. It makes a lot of people ask a lot of questions. Not that I'm here to judge, but come on, dude. Pick a better slogan than White Dudes for Harris. Pick a better candidate than Kamala. And yeah, you know what? That hat, no. Lose it. Get a beanie. It's cold outside. That's what the reporter's smart enough to do with his Trump beanie. And when it comes to looking good outside, strangely enough, I'm no fashion mogul, but I know for a fact that hat ain't it, okay? That's a bless your heart kind of situation. And that's from a straight dude with no real fashion sense. So, yeah. Hopefully they'll figure out their lessons and learn some truths about life, and maybe these reporters can learn to tone it down just a hair. The cameraman did not need to really interject himself in the situation. The white dude for Harris and the pink did get that right, but that's probably where that conversation should have ended, because that's all that they said that was potentially correct. So ultimately, this is a bless your heart kind of situation. Passions are high. These guys really just need to chill out and realize it's going to be okay. It was okay 8 years ago when Trump came into office. It's going to be okay again. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl News. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.